Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Vanik Smart Classes, online and live streaming, anytime, anywhere. Myself, Nishant Shukla, welcoming to a wonderful and fruitful session of our discussion of prelims, OCS prelims crash course economics. Let's not waste any further time. Let's jump on to questions. Please read the question. Question पढ़ंतु 1 minute, 2 minute नियंतु. Just take your 1 minute and then we'll solve it. Consider the statements in a foreign statements in regard to real GDP of a country. Regards to the GDP of a country, real GDP is calculated by keeping inflation into consideration. Okay, good, right? Nominal GDP is calculated on the basis of prices of goods and services produced in the current year. This is also right. Both the statements are right. Real GDP is a macroeconomic. Real GDP is a macroeconomic measure of value of output, whereas nominal GDP is the market value of final goods. Nominal GDP is the market value of final goods. So real GDP is calculated by keeping inflation into consideration. Yes, it is always kept with regards to that. And nominal GDP is calculated on the basis of price of goods and services produced in the current year. The answer will be C. Both 1 and 2, both are right. Next question. Please read this. Let me come from washroom. Considering the following statements, higher growth in GDP and population can occur together. Per capita income always decreases with high population growth. What will be the answer? The answer will be both the options are correct. Higher growth in GDP and population can occur together. Yes, जैसे जैसे जमती जमती GDP बढ़िबो और population भी बढ़ चलती तो GDP भी बढ़ चलती वो. They have the symmetrical relation and per capita income always decreases with high population growth. Yes, जते ते population बढ़ते जीवो per capita income सेते बढ़ते जीवो because there will be invariable income distribution. इनवेरिएबल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हेले कोन हे जिवो पर कैपिटा इनकम सदल पड़ी जिवो. बोथ द ऑप्शंस आर करेक्ट. ओके, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. What is GDP deflator? GDP deflator is measured to GDP deflator is used to measure the relative reduction in GDP growth rate of a country, measure the inflation of a country, compare the GDP of a country vis-a-vis other countries of the world. Vis-a-vis means with regards to, with connection to other countries of the world. Estimate the purchasing power of the citizen of a country. कौन है वो? GDP deflator. GDP deflator is nothing but it is to measure the inflation in a country. It is a tool to which a country measures its inflation rate. Yes. Next. Which one of the statements is correct with respect to Philip curves? पढ़ो, take a time. It shows the trade-off between unemployment and inflation. The downward sloping of Philip curves is generally held to be valid only in the short run. In the long run, Philip curve is usually thought to be horizontal at the non-accelerating inflation rate of unemployment. What is the correct answer? Anyone? What is Philip curves? लेखन्तु नोट्स लेखन्तु राइट वेरी इंपोर्टेंट अच्छी फिलिप्स का लेट मी जमती लेखुची सेमती लेखन्तु फिलिप्स कर्व कौन होची? इट इज अ fundamental tenet but that when unemployment decreases, labor becomes more in demand. Forcing firms to compete for workers by raising wages. Please write it down. It shows, yes, from this you can learn that it shows the trade-off between unemployment and inflation. Yes. The downward sloping of curve of Phillips curves is generally held to be valid only in short run. Yes. It is only need to be valid in short run. Long run re hei pariboni. Only short run re hei paribo. Long run re hei pariboni. What is Phillips curves? Phillips curves are kemti rochi? Emti roi. Suppose this is the graph. Here it will be unemployment. And here will be inflation. So it will be like this. This is called as what? Inflation. तो जदि इन्फ्लेशन बेसी थिबो अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट कम थिबो जदि इन्फ्लेशन कम थिबो अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बेसी थिबो दिस इज कॉल्ड फिलिप्स कर्व this part and this part you can see this is the difference is called as Phillips curve. In the long run, Phillips curve is usually thought to be horizontal at the non-necessary inflation rate of unemployment. No. The long run Phillips curve is seen as a vertical line. केमती रहा देखा जाउची horizontal ना थिबो केमती थिबो it will be a vertical line at the natural rate of unemployment where the rate of inflation has no effect on unemployment. बुझिले? Okay. Next question. If India is experiencing economic growth, then which of the following statements must hold true? कौन है वो? If India is experiencing economic growth, then which of the following statement must hold true? Real GDP will increase, nominal GDP will increase, rate of growth of real GDP will increase, or rise in employment generation. कौन है वो? Economic growth होचे माने कोन? What is what is economic growth? लगा दो what is economic growth? Economic growth. It can be defined as increased in inflation adjusted market, increase in inflation adjusted market and value of goods and services produced market adjusted market value of goods and services produced by an economy in a year. If India is experiencing growth, the GDP कौन बढ़ेगा? Will GDP rise? Real GDP will increase, nominal GDP will increase, rate of growth of real GDP will increase in employment generation. कौन है वो? The nominal GDP will be 2 and 3. C. Okay, next. Imported capital, consider the following statements. Imported capital equipment are part of investment in Indian company. Capital goods exported out of India are not part of India's investment. कौन है वो? ओके, मुझे किसी भूल को ले रहा कुछ देखा ओके यस नाइन ठीक है ऑल गुड नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन कौन अच्छी imported capital अच्छा imported what is imported capital equipment कौन है वो what is imported capital equipment will they form a part of India's investment in Indian economy yes capital goods exported out of India are not part of India's investment what will be the answer yes it's wrong no it's also right sorry it's also right the answer will be C the answer will be C any form of investment imported capital equipment means any machine that helps in increasing our GDP and any machines we send to abroad both forms a part of investment both will be correct for sustained high growth which of the following statements will be true for sustained high growth which of the following statements will be true raising the investment by keeping the incremental capital output ratio minimum raising the investment and incremental capital ratio both increasing capital output and keeping investments at a constant rate all of the above what will be the answer the answer will be none other than B A raising the investment by keeping the incremental capital output ratio minimum raising the investment capital output ratio minimum what is percentage change in GDP how it is calculated investment ratio percentage upon incremental capital output ratio okay this will be the question raising the investment by keeping the incremental capital output ratio minimum. Next question. If a country's growth rate is good but there is no corresponding growth in employment, then which of the following may be the reason? Read karo to. Read it. The growth is coming from better utilization of existing capacity and not because an increase in investment. The growth is coming from increase in investment but because of better utilization of existing capacity. The growth is coming from both as a result of increase in investment and increase in capacity utilization. None of this. A country's growth केबे होची when additional investment is there or better utilization of existing resources. When these two are there, country of growth ହେବ तो एथरे कोन ହେବ A. The growth is coming from better utilization of existing capacity and not because of increase in investment. Okay, next. Which of the following are true regarding terms of trade of a country with another country? It is a ratio of export price index to import price index. It is a ratio of value of exports to value of imports. It is a measure of how imports a country can get to a unit of exported goods. Terms of trade increases with increase in price of exported goods. Select the correct code given below. Which of the following statements are true regarding the terms of trade of a country with another country? It is a ratio of exports price index to import price index. Yes. Yes, it is. Arey yaar. Yes, it's right. It is the ratio of value of exports to value of imports. No. It is a measure of how much imports a country can get for a unit of exported goods. Oh yes. Right. TOT increases with increases in price of exported goods. Yes. The answer will be 1, 3 and 4. Now let's understand what is TOT, terms of trade. For suppose there is a country called X. Now X कौन करछि? Now X is exporting apples and importing orange. ठीक अछि? So TOT कौन होछि? Simply the ratio of price of apples to price of oranges. Suppose price of apple जदि होछि 120 rupees per kilo and orange होछि 40 rupees per kilo. Okay, so TOT केते हबो? TOT is 120 per kilo upon 40 upon kilo, that is 3 per kilo. What is this 3 per kilo? Which means if India is exporting 3 kilo apple, then it can import 1 kilo of apple. ता माने कोन अछि जदि 3 kg import माने जदि हमको जदि एक्सपोर्ट करिवा अछि एप्पल और इंपोर्ट करिवा अछि जदि गोटे केजी जदि आपण एवरेज की जदि आनिबा अछि ताले हमको 3 केजी एप्पल को कोन करबो एक्सपोर्ट करिवा को पड़िबो बुझिले. दिस इज कॉल्ड टर्म्स ऑफ ट्रेड. तो टर्म्स ऑफ ट्रेड केमती हम जति एमती इंक्रीज पड़िबो प्राइस ऑफ एक्सपोर्टेड गुड्स रो जदि हमर एटा जदि 120 रु जदि जंप करके 160 हे गले कोन हेबो ना 160 बाय 40 करले केते हेबो 4 पर किलो हेजबो त मानो टीओटी कोन हे गेला बड़ी गला सो 4 इज योर राइट it is a ratio of export price index to import price index export price import price index hela it is a measure of how much imports a country can get for exported goods jodi ame kono 3 kg jodi बिकिले 3 kg एक्सपेक्ट करले 1 kg हमें इंपोर्ट करि पारेबो बुझिलो ओके लेट्स मूव टू नेक्स्ट टॉपिक which of the following is a measure of degree of openness in economy degree of openness of economy export and import share in world GDP, balance of payments as a percentage of GDP, trade balance as a percentage, export and import of goods and services as a percentage of GDP. कौन तो कौन होची? तार कोन हेबो डी हेबो आंसर the answer will be D the answer will be D openness is measured as export plus imports of goods and services as a percentage of GDP बुझले yes next consider the following statements with regards to India exports of goods as a percentage of GDP steadily decreased in the last decade imports is a percentage of GDP has a steadily increased in the last decade trade as a percentage of GDP has steadily decreased in the last decade कौन है आपको it's किछि भी हेबरनी none of the above remember one thing none of this भी आंसर हे पारिबो export has a percentage has steadily decreased नहीं exports बढ़ी छि हमरो imports as a percentage has steadily increased नहीं imports decrease हे छि last decade रे trade as a percent of GDP has steadily decreased नहीं increase हे छि none of the answer को बुझलो केमती लागिला value of transactions is generally higher the value of output in GDP money required for transaction in the economy is equal to value of transactions कौन है वो value of transaction is generally higher than the value of GDP in the economy तार माने कौन there are lot of transactions that happens in the economy for goods and services but the same output when transacted several times. So value of transaction is always higher than the final output in the economy. It is always higher. It is always higher in the economy. Money required for transaction in economy is equal to value of transactions. No, only one above. Money keeps changing. The पैसा कौन होची सब दिन चेंज होची, तार वैल्यू चेंज होची. So money used for doing transaction again and again, the money required for doing transaction will be always less than the total of transaction in the economy. तार कौन है आंसर ओनली वन हेबो. मनी रे जेतु वैल्यू कौन होची सदाले चेंज होची, ताले कौन हेबो केबे कम भी लागिवो केबे बेसी भी लागिवो. Right. Next, economic growth in a country will necessarily have to occur if there is a technical progress in the country, population growth, capital formation, the country's export are rising. Very interesting question. There is always capital formation hele kona habo body wo. Capital formation in the internet is having investment mane kon hochi. Investment in economy is always in the form of production of capital goods. तो economy जतले consumption goods करिवर capital goods, when the economy produces all consumption goods but no capital goods, then its GDP shall remain constant. That means it say body money. By the time there is net production of capital, investment in the economy, production of goods always keeps the economy rising. तो capital formation कबे हबो? Production of capital goods चले जाएगी हबो. बुझे? Income elasticity of demand. It means that the responsiveness of a demand for a particular goods to change in consumer income. Using this concept, it is possible to tell if a particular good represents a necessity or a luxury. कौन है वो? The answer will be both the options are correct. In income elasticity, it calculated as a percentage change. Percentage change in क्या होती है? Quantity demanded versus quantity supplied. Percentage change in income. Sorry. केते डिमांड बढ़ी ची और केते इनकम रे चेंज हेची सेटा मेजर करची इनकम इलास्टिसिटी माने स्ट्रेचेबिलिटी सेटा जदी आपण से डिमांड ता डिस्क्राइब करबा कि आपण पय गोटे जदी फॉर सपोज आपण जदी पाखर गोटे सैलरी अछि 1 लाख नाउ आपण का सैलरी 2 लाख से गला तो देयर इज कम इन इनकम इलास्टिसिटी गला इनकम स्ट्रेच से गला बेले कोन आपे आपण का डिमांड भी स्ट्रेच हे जिवो ना आपण को पय एबे बाइक कोन हेबो इट नेसेसिटी हेबो ना लग्जरी हेबो आपण को इनकम इलास्टिसिटी डिसाइड करबो जे आपण बाइक किनिबे कि न किनिबे दिस इज कॉल्ड इनकम इलास्टिसिटी Welfare of the people of a country is best represented by which of the following parameter? Welfare of the people of a country is best represented by which? Per capita national income at constant prices, per capita national income at current prices, per capita GDP at constant prices, per capita GDP at current prices. कौन है वो? Very fundamental question. तार ऑप्शन है तार बेस्ट ऑप्शन आंसर कौन होची ए है द क्वेश्चन माने कौन कोची एज इट शुड बी बेटर कैलकुलेटेड पर माने द वेलफेयर ऑफ द कंट्री मस्ट बी कैलकुलेटेड पर कैपिटा इन नेशनल इनकम रादर देन जस्ट नेशनल इनकम
କାହିଁକି ଅଛି ଯେ GDP बढ़ुची population भी बढ़ुची then standard of living will not improve since increase in prices can change national income and market prices so increasing in welfare of the people माने कोन अछि जदि पर कैपिटल इनकम रेशो बढ़ुची सेही दाम रे जदि कैपिटल इनकम बढ़ुची देन कोहा जेबो कि देयर इज वेलफेयर ऑफ द कंट्री ठीक আছে थैंक यू विल मीट सून टुमारो